Hello guys, and welcome to episode 3 of my monotype runs. Today we are doing a bug only run, which, you know what, in hindsight it sounds scary, but you know what, it actually is going to turn out okay in Gen 1. Today we're going to go over the rival is Suzume, one of more recent subscribers. Also, they've commented on a few videos. Really appreciate it. Thank you and welcome to the channel. So, you might be thinking, bug types are awful, but is that really so? So we're doing this in Gen 1. One good thing about starting with the bug type and doing a mono bug run, you actually start off with some really good Pokemon. Well, I say they're good Pokemon, they're actually kind of awful, but they level up and they evolve very quickly. We're going to choose our starter today as Caterpie and label it as Bye Bye, as in Bye Bye Butterfree. And yeah, it's kind of awful to start off as Caterpie. We've seen that in my Caterpie only run. And we do lose this very first fight, which I was kind of expecting, to be honest, but it's not a mandatory fight. We can progress on with the story. And one of the good things about bug types, there actually are a lot of them in Viridian Forest. I say a lot of them, there's two that we can use in this run. We can catch ourselves a Weedle in this run, just in Viridian Forest. We can then pick up another Pokemon in Mount Moon, and to be fair, we'll actually fill out our team kind of quickly to start off with. So you might be wondering why I'm trying to batter the hell out of this Metapod. Pretty much, at level 7, Caterpie evolves into a Metapod, which, yeah, it's still not great. But I actually, because I do a lot of solo runs, I do mash the B button quite a lot and actually skip to the leveling up portion for this. So at level 7, we find our Weedle, and we can catch that, and we can give it the name. I'm going to call it Sting because it seems very apt. You know, Sting the musician, it's got a stinger on its head. I'm very inventive with this, apparently. So yeah, we'll name it Sting, and we've got our first two Pokemon to do this run with. Now you might be thinking, how the hell are you going to get past Brock with a Caterpie and a Weedle? Well, that comes down to its evolutions, really. Caterpie, Weedle, Metapod and Kakuna are all awful, but their last evolution stages, which they get to by level 10, are all really pretty good, to be fair. Especially for the early game, they are really good Pokemon. We can get ourselves a Butterfree, and we can get ourselves a Beedrill. Now, Beedrill will not be key for this Brock battle. We're going to want that Butterfree, and that's for one specific reason. At level 12, it learns the move Confusion. So when we can finally evolve into our level 7 Kakuna, we can evolve our Caterpie after beating up this Pidgey. Once we've got these Pokemon leveled up, we can progress on to Brock. So, God, I've skipped it again. So I'm going to have to go against more Pokemon here. So let's beat this level 6 Metapod. I really need to get better at not pressing that B button all the time. So at level 9 we actually get our Metapod. And that means we can then move on. We can get those further levels up. But before that, I'm going to go against the rival to the west of Viridian. Before we've even evolved to our final stages, we'll start off with Sting because it does have Poison Sting, which means if we can get the poison off, we've actually got a good chance to win this fight. Annoyingly, this Pidgey just loves spamming Sand Attack, meaning we're going to lose a lot of hits and a lot of turns, so we need to switch between our Pokemon to reset that accuracy. Pretty much what we're hoping for is that poison chance with Sting. But we're not really getting it. We're down on 4 HP here. We miss our final Poison Sting, and Bye Bye now comes out with a Tackle. I don't think we might be able to beat this Pidgey here, but we will definitely not be able to beat this Charmander coming up. And the reason why I've chose Charmander for the rivals Pokemon, it gives us the hardest matchup right at the end because bug types are weak to fire. So yeah, we can level up our Pokemon. Sting is easily the better Pokemon in Viridian Forest because a lot of bug Pokemon are weak to poison, and we have Poison Sting. So we can get ourselves our Beedrill, and that means that we have now got a really powerful monster on our team. We can then level up Bye Bye, becomes its Butterfree, and once we've mutilated the entire population of Metapods, we have our Butterfree. And we have our good team here, and it's going to make a massive difference in this rival fight. So I did go back and try the rival fight again. We only get Confusion at level 12, so we've only still got the same moves to deal with as what we had before. We've still got Poison Sting, which is easily the better move here. Because we've got that chance to poison, it means we can deal more damage. But, to be fair, Beedrill's actually got really good attack. Compared to Butterfree, Butterfree doesn't have good attack, it's got better special. So, Beedrill is easily the better Pokemon in the early game where defenses are quite low. Reason why Butterfree's going to be better against Brock is because Confusion is a special move, and his Pokemon are quite weak to special. So once we've beaten Suzume, we can move on to Brock. Now, we've now leveled up to level 12 here. The level cap here is 14. With Confusion, this becomes an absolute cakewalk for us. As you can see here, when we use Confusion, it deals out a lot of damage. So this is the reason why we wanted Butterfree for this fight. And it proves that you can beat Brock with just bug Pokemon. Even before getting to the level cap. Which is fantastic. I was quite happy with this. But it did take a tiny while to get here. We now level up. We now put the level cap at 21 and we can catch our third Pokemon, who is making a return on a second consecutive video. We are going to catch a Paris for our Mushi. Mushi was one of my MVPs of the grass run. And yeah, I'm very happy that Paris is actually a grass bug Pokemon, because we'd actually have less Pokemon to work with. Now you might be thinking ahead and thinking, what other Pokemon can we get for this run? And there's only... With a lot of the generations, there are a lot of version locked Pokemon, and I'm not allowing trades in these runs, unless they are in-game trades. But I can't trade out Pokemon from another game into this one, because to be fair, I actually don't know how to do that with this emulator. But you may be thinking, which Pokemon is going to be version locked? Well, it's actually going to be Cypher. Cypher is version locked in Pokemon Blue because you can get Pinsir instead. Arguably, actually prefer that choice. We can pick up TM4 and then we can move on to Misty. Now before Misty we have the Peck Goldeen trainer, which as we saw in the grass run is a bit of a problem because of Peck being a flying type move. Bugs are also weak to flying type moves, so it gives us a bit of a hard run here. This is why we have Paris. I forgot to rename him Mushi as I caught him, so we'll have to do that back in Lavender later on. I really mashed the A button a lot too much, really. But Paris can take down the Goldeen trainer, and we'll come back and beat Misty now. Now, we don't have any grass moves to work with this time. We do have Sleep Powder at level 18 with Bye-Bye, but the big problem is going to be that Starmie at the end. Starmie is a Water Psychic Pokemon. Our best move right now is Confusion. So, yeah. I'm not too sure how we're going to do this very easily. But Starmie comes out, and ideally it's better to put it asleep, but I actually went for the stun here. And that moves us into Sting. We've got two Pokemon to work with here, so we might actually have a good chance. Water Gun does big damage, and we're not really dealing much out with Fury Attack, meaning it's bye-bye against Starmie. So, Tackle is our best move here, because Confusion annoyingly won't do very much against a Starmie, and we do lose this fight. I do think it's still possible, but I feel like a different strategy needs to be deployed here. So this time we're actually going to lead with Sting. Focus Energy is completely pointless, but we do get a good Sting with Poison Sting, and we can use Fury Attack to take as much damage off the Staryu as possible before it takes us down, leading us into Paris. Now we want Paris to have a lot more HP going into the Starmie. Starmie comes out, and we're going to switch into Bye-Bye straight away. We're going to put it asleep, and we're going to tackle our way through. It's really all we can do. You can see how little damage Tackle is really doing. That Starmie is very bulky, but as long as we can keep it asleep, we can deal enough damage out, and hopefully, by the time that Bye-Bye goes down, we've taken enough HP off that Paris can do enough to get by. So then we can paralyze it, giving us better speed, and we can scratch our way through to victory. It's not a clean strategy, but it's kind of messy, but it works, and we do take the win before the level cap. Putting the level cap up now at level 24, we can have another go against Suzume on Nugget Bridge. So this time we're starting again with Sting, and I'm kind of wondering here, what's really going to be the best player? Pidgeotto is bulky at this point in the game, and it really does a lot of damage, so I was actually opting to try and reduce its speed so we can try and let one of our other Pokemon do bigger damage. We can get that Confusion off, we can get Sleep Powder off, and then we move into Abra. Now we don't have Leech Life yet, we don't have Leech Seed either, because that's a grass type move. None of these Pokemon can learn Leech Seed, so we're going to have to rely on Paris here for quite a lot of the bulk. or at least the damage output. We can stun spore the Charmander, which might not have been the best player, but we do get 2 paralysis in a row, meaning Scratch takes 4 hits to win, and we get first time victory. So that's a pretty good start to the run, I'd say. Our bug type Pokemon are doing pretty well. We pick up Seismic Toss, the TM there, because we are probably going to need it for Pinsir later on. We can also pick up another TM here against this Rocket here, who has stolen the TM for Dig. Now, as you might have seen on the grass type mono run, Paris can learn Dig, and it's a good Pokemon to use it for, because it's also, in other runs you could use it as a HM Mule. It can learn Tackle, oh sorry not Tackle, it can learn Cut, it can learn Dig, so it's got a good variety of moves that you can use for a HM Hall. Once we've beaten the Rocket, we pick up Dig, and we can move on to Surge. Now Dig is also a great move for the upcoming gym leader, and we want to make sure that our level is not too high for this. We can go pick up Body Slam from the SSN. You get it after beating this youngster trainer here. He only has 1 Nidoran, so it's not really too much of a problem. It's a good chance for Sting to get up some levels. In the early game, Beedrill's actually not very good, but now we actually learn Twin Needle, which is a fantastic move. It's a bug type move, yes, but it's essentially a 50 base power move because it hits twice, and with a chance to poison, it's pretty damn good, especially when there's a lot of psychic types running around. Yeah, it's actually going to become very, very useful. And we can see how this works against Suzume on the SSN. So we're going to start off with Paris, and we're going to go for Body Slams. If we can't hit the stun spores, we might as well go for Body Slam because it does have the chance to paralyze. But then I realised Pidgeotto is also normal flying, and Body Slam won't paralyze it. Bye Bye then takes the win, and we can get a Sleep Powder off on the Ratcate. Confusion is the best play here. And now we're going into Kadabra. So I actually should really have switched out here into Sting a bit earlier, but because we now have Twin Needle, it's a bug type move, we can do big damage and then into the Charmeleon. We want to get the poison chance on the Charmeleon so it starts whittling a bit of HP down. Fury Attack does decent damage here, but 1 more Ember takes us out, and as long as we hit that Sleep Powder, which we did, we can take the win quite comfortably. So, you know what, we're actually doing really, really well with these bug Pokemon. They get all of their growths are in the early experience groups, which means we get up a lot of levels very early on. We're going to teach Cut to Sting because, you know what, it's actually going to become quite useful with the moveset we've planned on later in this run. So once we've saved, we'll go into Surge and we'll see how we do. We're going to lead here, most likely with Paris, because it has Dig. So even though we're not as fast, Dig is a powerful move here. It's 100 base ground type move, so it sweeps through most of the team without taking any damage whatsoever. Thundershock actually does hit onto Paris, and 2 Digs finally take out the Raichu. Very easy fight in all honesty. It's probably one of the easiest gym leaders we've got to deal with, and that leads us on to Rock Tunnel. Now, at level 24, Paris evolves into Parasect, and it just makes our team a lot more stacked. Body Slam is just a great move to have on it. I put it on Venusaur for the last video, and to be fair, looking at this one now, I honestly think I should have put it on Parasect. Once we've taken out the Venonat, we've defeated the Bug Catcher, gone up to level 24, and evolved into Parasect. Fantastic Pokemon. Even though it's got so many weaknesses, I'm really impressed with how it's been doing these last few runs. This brings us on to Lavender Tower with another fight against Suzume. We Sleep Powder the Pidgeotto and Confusion it down. Sand Attack does hit us, which is really annoying, but we managed to get back to sleep. It goes straight back to sleep, and then this goes on 2 or 3 times. Quite annoying. But finally we take it down with Confusion, and we're onto the Execute, and we're going to switch straight into Sting here because Twin Needle is 4 times super effective. Doesn't even take both hits, it only needs 1. We get Twin Needle off on the Gyarados, and Hydro Pump hits hard. We are not doing well against this Gyarados right now, so we're going to have to switch into our Parasect. We're going to go for Body Slam here, and it takes it out in 2, bringing us on to Kadabra. We have now learnt Leech Life, which is going to do massive damage on a Kadabra, and we managed to tank a bit of HP back. So, last up is Charmeleon, and unfortunately it does outspeed and take us down, meaning Bye Bye has got to contend with an Ember Charmeleon. We get it to sleep and start Confusioning again. Pretty much just like the battle on the SSN, and we take the win. This leads us over to Celadon City, but before that, I'm going to go to the name rater and make sure that I've renamed our Parasect into Mushi. Mushi is now only the second it's the first Pokemon to appear on 2 consecutive videos. The first one to appear in multiple videos so far on the mono run. And I'm glad to have him back. He was a great Pokemon in the grass type. This brings us on to Erica, which, to be fair, was going to be even easier than Lieutenant Surge. We're just going to go with Sting, because Twin Needle is a fantastic move for this gym. Even against the Tangela, it's going to take 4 hits to take it down. And onto the Vileplume, we're going to take barely any damage from it because we take it out in 1 Twin Needle. We get the 4th badge very easily, and that level cap skyrockets to level 43. So you might think, why have I not gone to go and try and find another Pokemon yet? Well, there's TMs to go pick up, there's other bits and bobs to do before we actually expand the game out a bit more. We need to go and beat Giovanni here before we can actually go to Lavender Tower. And you know what? It's actually just going to be a good time to go and actually do a bit of gambling for once. Because there's some moves in the Rocket Game Corner, some TMs that I really want. Namely that being Hyper Beam and Substitute. And the reason why I want Hyper Beam is because I actually do want to put it onto our Beedrill. Because there's another move we can get in Silphco which is going to complement it so well. And I'll let you know that one. If you can figure it out beforehand, put it in the comments, let me know. So we spend a lot of time gambling. I mean, Hyper Beams takes 5,000 coins, so it does take us quite a long time. And we're going to teach Hyper Beam to our Beedrill. And you're going to see why this makes Beedrill our absolutely best Pokemon on this run. And I legitimately mean that. Beedrill was easily our best Pokemon this run. So we're going against Giovanni now, and we are going to start off with Bye Bye. Confusion, it's going to do big damage, and it goes down in 2. Rhyhorn is next. I'm going to go for Sleep Powder. I have actually taught Razor Wind on this moveset. I have actually tried on this run to use as many moves as I've never used before. So I've never used Razor Wind before because it's quite a bad 2-turn move. It doesn't really have any super effective damage. I mean, it does barely any damage anyway. And I've also gone out of my way to use Psywave this time around. Yeah, I'm actually doing a run where I've used Psywave. Before we move on to Lavender Tower and finish off that side quest, we're going to go and pick up the TM for Psychic, because we want to give this to our Bye Bye. You pick it up from Mr. Psychic in Saffron City once you've opened it up. And we're going to go up to Lavender Tower and finish off these rockets. Not one of them are a problem really. I mean, when you've got bug type moves and a lot of the Pokemon you go against are going to be poison types, you've got a pretty good matchup. Bugs are actually pretty good in Gen 1 when you're doing a monotype run. I mean, I wouldn't say they're very good competitively. I don't think I've ever seen any of these Pokemon used in competitive teams in Gen 1, but fair enough. So, Mushi just sweeps through the entire Lavender Tower. Having Spore in our moveset is so overpowered. It's a 100% accurate sleep-inducing move. I mean, who wouldn't want to put someone to sleep 100% of the time? I mean, there is the odd chance that we do get the 1 in 256 Gen 1 miss. Unfortunately, it does happen, it's part of the coding, but you can't really do anything about that. We can pick up some vitamins, rare candy, and TM26 in Silphco, but unfortunately, there's no Pokemon that can actually learn it out of the Pokemon we're going to be picking up. Hyper Beam, it's not really taken out of Magnemite yet, but it's because we haven't actually picked up the other move that we want from Silphco. If you haven't figured which move that's going to be yet, I actually want to go and pick up the move Sword Stance. Now think about it. If you use Sword Stance 3 times and then use Hyper Beam, you've got a move which does ridiculous amounts of damage. And Beedrill's got quite high attack, so it's a perfect Pokemon to use this on. So, going against the rival with 3 Pokemon. I don't know if I'm going to win this one. We are very under-leveled and he's got 5 Pokemon compared to our 3. We do have a lot of utility moves, but Razor Wind is just not one of them. We need to get these Pokemon back to sleep even though we're poisoned. The most annoying thing about Bye Bye is he doesn't actually have any recovery moves apart from Mega Drain, but there's other Pokemon I want to put that on later on, so I haven't actually equipped it to a Pokemon yet. We bring out Sting, and annoyingly I haven't taught Sword Stance for this battle. If we had, maybe we would have had a chance, but Dragon Rage just does big damage and we just can't stand up to Gyarados as we are. Mushi is up last, and yeah, I feel like we're just going to have to come back later and do the 5th rival fight before then. It makes sense because the next gym leader we can go against is going to be Koga, so why don't we go and pick up a few more Pokemon and get the next gym badge, and then get up a few more levels. It seems like the most logical thing to do, and once we've beaten the Snorlax of all things, yeah, this Snorlax is actually really tanky. And it just decides it doesn't want to stay asleep as well. Really annoying. Once we've beaten it, we can go through to the bike path. If you've also not picked up the bike at this point, you can do the glitch where you can actually get a free bike. So in the grass to the east of Fuchsia, you can find Venonats, which is going to be our 4th addition to the team. So it's not a great Pokemon as a Venonat, but it doesn't take too many levels before it evolves into a Venomoth, which is the Pokemon we actually want. Pretty much because it's got better special, and like Butterfree, it also has Psychic type moves on its roster. But right now it doesn't have that, so we're going to have to level up. And in the Safari Zone we can pick up our Pinsir, which is going to be one of our walls in this run. Ah, it ran away. Come back. There you are. And we caught it. Okay, Pinsir has joined the team. So I did not name both of those new additions to our team, so we need to go and do that now. First up, let's rename Pinsir. You know what I'm going to call him? I really like Futurama, so let's call him Clamps. In ode to Clamps. I cannot do voice impressions. And then we also need to rename Venonat, and at this point I had no idea what name I wanted to give it, and I just kind of did a mishmash of Venonat and Venomoth, so we're going to call him Natamoth. And see how we go from there. Yeah, Natamoth. Very inventive round. Let's move on. We can get HMO4 strength here, and we're going to teach this to Pinsir because we need a good physical move for it, and it's the only one that can learn it. We can't teach Water Gun, we can teach Bide, but I don't want to, it's a terrible move. So yeah. We'll pick up the rare candy here, and then progress on. So we need to go and beat Koga. I am going to use a few rare candies here just to get Natamoth up to his Venomoth, and we've now got our full stack team of bug types. Because right now we cannot get any more bug type Pokemon than this without forcing any trades in like Cypher. But with a full team, let's see how we do against Coffin. So, we're going to use Clamps, and starting off we're just going to guillotine our way through. Pretty much, Clamps, even though he's like 7 levels below his weakest Pokemon, pretty much Guillotine just swept through half his team. It doesn't do very much against the Weezing, and unfortunately Strength is just going to take a lot of hits to take it down. We are poisoned but not taking too much damage, and annoyingly a Smog takes us out, leading us into Natamoth, who just uses a takedown to finish the fight. Very easy fight, and it means we can now move on back to Silphcore. So I did do a lot of training up in Silphcore. There's a lot of trainers here you can use for easy experience, and with how low our levels are and the fact that because we're early game Pokemon, our growth levels aren't really good in this middle to late game, it's worth us spending a bit of time getting up some levels, because it'll help us out when it gets to this later half of the game. So bug type Pokemon are very good early on, but not in the late game. Even with a stacked team as much as we do, it's going to be a while before we're actually ready for Rival 5. We have to switch even in some battles because we're against a lot of poison type Pokemon, and Bug is weak to poison. Takedown is not a great move, and I really need to find an alternative for it. I'm just not sure what it is right now. We have Toxic on that moveset as well, and we've given Substitute for the Venomoth as well. When we've finally got our team up a few levels, the Doduo there is not going to be used in battle, it is just there for fly. We're going to have to think about who we actually start off with for this fight, because he starts off with Pidgeot, and we don't have a great type matchup for any of our Pokemon starting off. I'm going to try off with Sting. If we can set up with Sword Stance, we might be able to sweep just with Sting on his own. So we're going to set up with Sword Stance. Wing Attack does big damage. We get 2 Sword Stances up, and I really shouldn't have gone for the third. Let's try that again. So I'm going to start off with Natamoth this time. Toxic misses and then hits on the second, So I'm going to switch now into Clamps. Clamps can tank a bit more damage than any of the others, but Strength doesn't take them out, the toxic damage finally does. So we're going to try and guillotine this Execute, but we do get Leech Seeded, so we finally take it out just before that, and Strength takes a bit of damage off the Gyarados before we fall. So we move back into Natamoth, we toxic the Gyarados, which is good, but it does fall. So next up is the Mushi. And I kept going for Spore here, not realising that I just put it into Poison, which means that Poison, we can't put it to sleep because it's got another status effect. That's pretty much it. Bye Bye takes the win. We Sleep Powder the Alakazam, and we now need to switch into Sting and set up our Swords Dances while it's asleep. While we've got Swords Dances set up, Hyper Beam will now just do phenomenal damage. Even takes out the Charizard in one, and we take the win against Suzume. What a run this has turned out to be. I'm using strategies I've never used before, especially with these bug Pokemon. And this is going to continue on. You're going to see these strategies really pull through for us here. So, against Giovanni and Sylph, we're going to go starting off with Spore. We're going to go for Leech Life against the Poison type Pokemon and keep our HP consistently up. Nidorino goes down, and that brings out the Kangaskhan. Now, you don't have a super effective move against this thing, but using Leech Life, using Body Slam, we've got a good chance to do a lot of big damage while he can't do much to us. Body Slam is doing big damage and we finally take it down. Rhyhorn is next. I am going to switch now. Natamoth has got Mega Drain, so it's an easy win. We're going to set up a substitute first though, because we know that the Nidoqueen is out next. So if we can go in at full health with a substitute up, we've got a good chance to start off this fight. We do a few takedowns for the substitute breaks, and then we swap into Bye Bye. We're going to use a big powerful Psychic, and it's going to take 2 hits to take him down. But that's an easy fight, and we move on. So our level cap is still level 43 because Sabrina and Koga have both got the same level cap. We can go against the Black Belt for some more easy experience because Bye Bye's got Psychic, and it gets us up quite a lot of levels just in the Fighting Dojo. We're not going to pick up a Fighting Pokemon because we don't need it. It's an inferior type to the bug. And that brings us on to Sabrina, who I'm actually really not worried about. We've got Leech Life on our moveset, we've got Twin Needle. We've got a really good team for her Psychic Pokemon. A lot of them are weak to Psychic Pokemon because they're Bug Poison, but majoritively, we don't really have to worry in this fight whatsoever. It's now Venomoth out, and we're going to go for a Spore. Spore is so broken. This is why I've enjoyed using Parasect. Spore is such a good move. Even though our speed is pretty bad with a Parasect, it still comes through for us consistently. Such a good move. So, we're finally through to our final Pokemon, and Mushi has pretty much swept her entire team just on its own. Leech Life keeps the HP up, we're going to Spore, make sure it's still asleep, Body Slam because, you know, it's got bad defences, and unfortunately we do lose to Poison. We bring in Natamoth, who again gets the cheeky win right at the end with a takedown. That's 2 gym leaders in a row now, and we've got 6 badges, meaning our level cap is now moved up to level 47. And this time I have not lost the footage for Blaine or Giovanni. We're going to teach Psywave to Natamoth, getting rid of Takedown, just to say we've actually used Psywave in one of my videos. Let's go all the way over to Cinnabar Island, let's go against Blaine. Before that we'll go and say hi to Mom, and then we'll go against some of these trainers. So a lot of these trainers have got water Pokemon, which is perfect because we can level the power of Venomoth here a bit. We can level up Mushi as well because, to be fair, none of these Pokemon really pose too much of a threat. And I always skip this area when I'm doing a solo run because there's a lot of trainers here. I just hug to the left and go all the way down to Cinnabar. You know what? In terms of leveling up, this is actually a pretty good place for it. A lot of Sea Kings here, which give you around about 1300 experience. Oh, sorry, about 1000, which at this point in the game is pretty good. And this one trainer in particular, he's got about 3 Sea Kings and a Goldeen. So, in that one fight, you're probably getting about 3,500 experience. Anyway, we'll move on to Cinnabar. We can pick up Rare Candy here, get rid of this Grimer, and we can pick up the TM for Solar Beam after beating up another Grimer. I really should pick up a lot of Max Repels. Oh my god, that's 3. I've barely gone about 5 paces and I've gone against 3 random Pokemon. Anyway, We picked up Solar Beam, which I might use. I'm not too sure. I'm not the biggest fan of 2-turn moves. We've seen that evident with Razor Wind. But once we've dug out, we can heal up and we can go against all the trainers. Now, I actually am opting to go against every single trainer here. I know we do have the type disadvantage, but to be fair, Clamps is sweeping through most of these with just a couple of Vice Grips or Strengths. Even against the Ninetales, Ember does big damage, but Strength is... Oh no, we actually do lose that one. Okay, Natamorph, Psybeam. We didn't keep Psywave for long, to be fair. Psybeam was just far superior. Anyway, on to Blaine. We are going to start off with Mushi, and strangely, his Growlithe did not go for a Fire-type move. Once we've got it to sleep, we are going to set up with Sting and cut our way through. Yeah, we're actually going to use Cut as a legitimate move in this. Cut does big damage on most of these Pokemon. Hyper Beam takes out Rapidash, Arcanine's left, and with a critical hit, it actually negates the amount of damage we did out. And now we're in a bit of a bad situation. Thankfully, Mushi is reliable, and a Dig takes out the Arcanine. So I'm going to get rid of Leech Life now for Slash. Slash is a pretty good move. It's got a high crit chance. And considering we're not badge boosting with Mushi, it's actually going to be worth our time using. In Giovanni's gym, of course, I am going to go against all the trainers here just to get some experience up, because we are only just breaching level 40 with all of our Pokemon. And this is the 8th gym. Not all of our Pokemon are level 40 by now. And I feel like we should have been. But this is what I mean about the growth experience levels. Very good in the early game, pretty dire in the late game. Either way, we make our way through to Giovanni. And I'm not imagining he's going to be much of a problem, really. He starts off with Rhyhorn, we're going to go with Clamps. Guillotine does big damage on Rhyhorn. And we're going to use Strength on Dugtrio. Oh, we missed that one. We missed 2. Missed 3. Hit the 4th, and it only does half damage. We finally take it down, and next is Nidoqueen. I'm going to use Seismic Toss. You might be wondering why I'm using Seismic Toss, really. Well, it's pretty much just for one battle later on in the game that I actually want Seismic Toss for, just in case we get stuck on using our Pinsir only. Bye Bye does big damage against the Nidoking and Nidoqueen, but unfortunately falls, bringing out Venomoth. Psybeam takes it out, and Rhydon is left, meaning one or two big Mega Drains will get us the win. So we've just beat Giovanni, where the majority of our Pokemon weren't even under, like, they were all under level 40, which is insane. The level cap moves up to level 56, and we can go against the rival to the west of Viridian again. Suzume has got a really stacked team here at this point. It's a good measure to see how we're going to do against the Elite Four. We still have Razor Wind on our moveset, and we missed that first Sleep Powder, which is not good. So we're going to bring in Mushi, hopefully get the Spore off, but it fortunately goes down to a critical wing attack. We're in a really bad position here. So I'm going to set up a substitute, go with Toxic Strats, but unfortunately we just seem to be missing everything in this fight. We really did not have a great time here. Clamps, we're going to get one Hyper Beam off, and it's still not enough. This is why we need the Sword Stances on Sting. So when we finally get set up, we beat that Pidgeot, it's actually going to be a lot easier to get past these Pokemon. Unfortunately, we are going to take a lot of damage. We're not outspeeding. Gyarados, we missed the Hyper Beam. If we'd hit the Hyper Beam, we probably would have won. But Clamps is just not strong enough to take out all the Pokemon left. Or quick enough, really. So yeah, we lose to the Alakazam. Let's try this again. It's not too far off, but we've got a good strategy. Why is Sleep Powder now missing so much? It's really doing my head in. Okay, instead of going straight into Mushi, we're going to go straight for the Toxic Strats and see if we can stall out a bit. And surprisingly, Natamorph pulls through and beats the Pidgeot, bringing us on to the Rhyhorn, where we can Mega Drain to get an easy win. This brings us on to Execute, and we're going to substitute Toxic onto it. It takes in Sunlight and takes... A Solar Beam doesn't even get rid of the substitute. Wow. Okay, fair enough. I think this is a good time to switch into Sting. We can set up. Yes, we have been Leech Seeded, so I'm going to switch back out to Natamorph now. Oh, man, we just keep getting Leech Seeded. This is not good. You know what? Pretty much we're just trying to stall it out because of the poison. Let's move on to the Gyarados. So, I'm going to go into Clamps here. Clamps can get a Guillotine, which actually hit. And that brings us on to Alakazam, who does a big sidekick and takes us out. That's great. Okay, let's move back to Mushi. Let's get a Spore off. And, you know, now it's time to set up Sting now it's asleep. Let's set up all of our Swords Dances. And Hyper Beam our way through to victory. We hit level 40 with Sting, and that's more than enough to take out the Charizard. Okay, so second time win, but I think this is actually a good point before we go to Elite Four to go and level up a bit more. There's a lot of trainers that I've missed, and I also need some money because to get through the Elite Four with a full team, you need quite a lot of full restores and revives. I can't use them within the battle, but I can use them after I've beaten each Elite Four member. And if 4 Pokemon go down every fight, that's a lot of full restores and a lot of revives. But it's a good thing there's a lot of trainers that we've missed, so we can go back and we can get some easy experience and some easy money. We're probably going to need, thinking about it, about 50,000 money really to do this quite comfortably. So that's what we're going to find. Also, Natamoth gets level 43 and learns Sleep Powder, which is going to be a lot better, but yeah, we're going to get rid of Substitute for Sleep Powder. It's just, Sleep is just so broken, it's worth having over Substitute. And we can move on. Oh, we missed one, and we can go against this cue ball with just one matchup. Easy experience, easy money. Now you might be thinking, what is our plan for Lorelei? We're a Bug-type Pokemon, she's an Ice-type Water Trainer. To be fair, I don't really have the best idea of this. We've got up a lot of levels since we were there, but we're not even reaching level 50 yet. Our highest level is level 46, but this actually might be possible at this level. Let's start off with Mushi. We have actually taught Solar Beam to it, but because when it's asleep, it's actually worth using. I get the Spore off and we can move into Sting. We're going to use our Swords Dance Hyper Beam strategy, and it wakes up, which is not good. So I'm just going to go for Hyper Beam. It then goes for Rest, so it gives us another chance to set up our Swords Dances. A 2 set up on Swords Dance means the Hyper Beam does big damage. We set up one more time and then hit ourselves in Confusion, which is bad. Cut does decent damage, but an Aurora Beam takes us out. So we're not in a good position. Our best Pokemon has gone down, and so has Mushi. We're really not in a good position here. Clamps is out, and we did teach Harden just so we could badge boost a little bit, and Guillotine takes the fight. We're going to set up our Hardens here against the Slowbro, and hopefully we can get a Guillotine off to take this one out, because it does like to set up a lot and increases defenses. So hopefully, even with all those growls, oh, we're not in a good position. Okay, at least we can take out the Slow... No, we can't take out Slowbro. Oh, come on, stop using potions. Okay, so we're through to Jinx. And because of our attack being just decimated, Jinx takes us down. Meaning we've only got Natamoth and we've got Bye-Bye left. Both are weak to ice. As long as we can get Sleep Powder off, we should be okay here. We missed the Toxic because it's asleep. I'm just going to try and get a bit of HP back with Mega Drain. Now we don't have the best moves to take out a Jinx. As long as we can keep it asleep though, we're in a decent position. But I'm really scared for the next Pokemon coming up, because the next Pokemon coming up is the Lapras with Blizzard. And this Jinx is just really walling us here. It's got very good special defense. Well, special in Gen 1. And we don't have very good HP to take out this Lapras. It gets a Blizzard off after waking up straight away. And unless we can get it to sleep and Mega Drain's really not doing much at all. No. This is a reset. What can I do differently here? So, the last fight pretty much just came down to bad luck. Once we've set up with Sting, the fight becomes really easy. It's just annoying that we didn't get the good luck in that previous fight. Hyper Beam does massive damage, and nearly takes even Cloyster out in one hit. So we're going to use Twin Needle to finish it off. Next up is Slowbro, who is weak to Twin Needle, so it's an easy win against it. So is Jinx. This is why Twin Needle is a fantastic move. Last up is Lapras, and we're going to go for the Hyper Beam, and it is a one-shot. So yeah, that's the strategy we needed. We needed to get up set up on Sting, because that Sword Stance Hyper Beam combo is just insanely powerful. Against Bruno, we are going to go purely just with Bye Bye. We've had Psychic on our moveset. Oh my god, we got froze. Are you kidding me? Okay, we got to change up the strategy a bit. This makes things a little bit harder. Clamps gets a Guillotine off, misses on the next one, and Mega Kick takes us out. So we're down 1 Pokemon, 2 technically with Bye Bye being frozen. And we finally get a good bit of luck with Natamoth. Natamoth really comes through in this fight. Mega Drain does big damage on the Onix. And last up is Machamp. As long as we get to sleep, we've won. It's going to take 3 Psybeams to take it out. Our special is really not good on this Natamoth. So we beat Bruno first time though, and that brings us on to Agatha, who I'm always scared about because you never know how the battle's going to go. But as long as we can get them to sleep, we should be okay. But I feel like this is going to be a very hard fight. We get put to sleep twice before we even get them to sleep once, and Bye Bye goes down without any problem whatsoever. So this time we actually get the sleep off, and Natamoth is now coming through clutch again. It's not doing great damage with Psybeam, but it's doing enough to start chipping away at all the Pokemon and put them to sleep. Bring Gengar back out, and we take it down with a couple of Psybeams. Next up is Haunter, and we don't outspeed, but we do get a Sleep Powder off. We're on 11 HP here, and we've got through 3 Pokemon there. I am going to switch now to Mushi, and we'll get a Spore off, but a big Acid does massive damage. That was really not good. Guillotine does outspeed and take out the Arbok on the second try. I mean, the last Pokemon up is the Gengar, and this is the reason why we wanted Seismic Toss, because it actually does hit Ghost types. It's the only move that Pinsir has that actually can hit a Ghost type. That's how far into the run that I thought about this and the moves that we were using. So beating Agatha first time, yeah, we actually did that first time. This brings us on to Lance. A very scary prospect. Pretty much with Lance, the best strat to go for is the Sword Stance Hyper Beam. Really is the best strat. So once we've set up full Sword Stances, I actually realised I haven't got much Hyper Beam left. So we're going to have to switch to Cut for the time being, but thankfully the Dragonairs only use Agility because they see we're a Poison type Pokemon. They get a big Hyper Beam up on us, and we managed to take down quite a lot of HP with just Twin Needle, and then he uses a Hyper Potion. Of course he uses Hyper Potion. So Aerodactyl is actually very strong against all of our team, and because it's poison we can't put it to sleep. So yeah, it's pretty much, we're just giving him the fight here. Seismic Toss will do decent damage, but when we come through to the Dragonite, we just aren't in a good position for this. Hyper Beam does massive damage, and because Hyper Beam took us out in one, there's a Gen 1 mechanic where it doesn't have to recharge. So we lose against Lance. I don't feel like we're far off. There was maybe one turn this entire fight, or at least the previous fight, that made the difference. Pretty much, Sword Stance Hyper Beam is the way forward with this bug team. Once we can get through all of these Pokemon... Oh wow, we don't even take out that Dragonair there. The Aerodactyl is the biggest threat. We need to take it down in one, and annoyingly Hyper Beam doesn't get the KO. It is a rock type, so it's down on low HP. As long as we can get it to sleep, unfortunately we can't do it against this one. The Pokemon that we need for this Dragonite, when we can finally get past Aerodactyl, the Pokemon that we need is actually the Venomoth. That's the Pokemon that's going to win us the fight against Lance. Bye Bye does fantastic here, managing to take it down a bit more, and then finally we're just on Natamoth. And I was thinking here, we're not going to do this, but we tank Hyper Beam, meaning we can get a little bit of HP back with Mega Drain, take down the Aerodactyl, and this is why all we needed for this final fight was Natamoth. Because Dragonite is... well, it's got 2 Psychic moves on its roster, Agility and Barrier. Because of Gen 1 AI, they see these moves and they go, like, Psychic is super effective against Poison, meaning I should only use that move. But because all they do is raise stats, he'll never attack us, meaning that's how we take the win. And we can move on to the final Suzume fight. Champion against Bug Trainer. How are we going to do here? We get Pidgeot to sleep, and if she hadn't have used Sky Attack there, we might have had to restart. And that gives us a chance to set up on Sword Stance, get our Hyper Beams in. I'm going to actually use Cut on Alakazam because it will take it out in one, and next up is Rhydon. Twin Needle doesn't do much, but because Rhydon's got terrible moves in this fight, it doesn't really matter. He actually uses Leer, which adds to Badge Boost glitch if we were thinking about using that. And next up is Executor. I'm going to use Hyper Beam, which gives us an easy win. Gyarados next, another Hyper Beam is an easy win. And last up is Charizard. He actually outspeeds us and takes out Sting. We're in a bad position here. And I have no idea. You can see me really not wondering what to do, but Natamoth comes through clutch again and gets it to sleep. We can get a couple of Psybeams off before it wakes up, but we're really not doing much damage. I'm going to have to switch. Mushi comes in, and we're going to go for Body Slam. It's going to take a couple of these to take it down, and we time it perfectly. He woke up and we timed the sport perfectly, meaning Mushi takes the win, Suzume is beaten, and we have become the champion of the Kanto League with a Bug-type team. The Bug Trainer, the Bug Catcher, has become the champion. I've done this for all you Bug Catchers out there, and this is the team we finished with. Mushi at level 46, our Parasect. Our MVP Sting at level 49. We did this without even getting to level 50 with a Bug team. I'm really happy with this. Natamoth, our Venomoth at level 47. Clamps at level 46, our Pinsir. And lastly, our starter Pokemon Bye-Bye at level 46, our Butterfree. We did this in 16 hours, 25 minutes. This took quite a long time, I'll be honest. But we've completed the game using just purely Bug Pokemon. I had a lot of fun with this one. I'll be honest, out of the 3 monotype runs I've done so far, genuinely this one was actually my most enjoyable. The rock type was tedious, the grass type, you had to do a lot of setup. The bug type's been a nice medium in between of all of them. But that leads us to thinking what we're going to pick next time on the wheel. Let's spin it and see what type we're doing next time. So, spin that wheel, what type we're going to have. Oh, come on! I don't know how I'm going to do this. There's only 3 dragons in the entire generation. Oh, God. Okay, if you got to this point, like, subscribe, and enjoy my pain next time I do one of these runs, you legends. See you next week. Bye.